Now I'm reading something that says that the Zika virus was discovered in 1947 in the forests of Uganda.
Zika forest.
The Zika forest is called the Zika forest in Uganda, and it is common in Africa and Asia.
Yes.
And then it later started spreading to the Western Hemisphere.
South America and Caribbean.
And then now the Caribbean
Now the
and so on,
Caribbean.
which is in the Western
Yes.
Hemisphere.
So
You know.
they had earlier outbreaks. That's where the first reports of outbreak. I think it was over in Asia.
Yes,
Right?
French Polynesia.
Uh-huh.
It had a significant outbreak, and we are learning. We've gotten a lot of what we know now about Zika virus. We learned from that outbreak. Yes.
Right.
One of the things, Zika, I think wasn't given a lot of attention initially because Zika was considered to be mild. And it was only when they realized all these cases in Brazil of
Microcephaly.
yes, then they started paying attention to it and started conducting more tests, more research.
Yes.
And only this year they began working on a vaccine for it.
Okay. We've talked a lot about mosquitoes. It's not my favorite topic because I really don't like them. But here we are talking about mosquitoes. Very small, but yet talawa.
Yes.
As in Jamaica, they will say, you know, they're small, but I mean, they make their presence felt.
Yes.
They make their presence known. Now, the Ministry of Health has other challenges, and some of them are not mosquito related. Some of them have to do with lifestyle. NCDs, for example. Dr. Laws?
Yes. Yes, you've highlighted another health challenge that we are battling with here in the Federation. Just to add that we are not unique. All the other Caribbean territories are also battling with the health challenge of the non-communicable diseases.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it is linked to slavery? Because there was one theory that Professor Hilary Beckles had,
Yes,
the University of the West Indies. He's now the Vice Chancellor.
at the university.
He believes that, you know, in the time of slavery, they brought us all of these salted stuff, the saltfish and the salt herring and the salt pig, all those things that they didn't want in the developed world and didn't eat, they send them to the slaves. And the salt and so on
Has
That
given rise to hypertension.
has given rise to hypertension and all of this. And then, of course, we grow a lot of sugar cane and
Yes,
all of this
so
kind
we
of
develop
thing.
a liking for high
Right, so he
refined
thinks that it
sugars.
is tied to our history. But can we keep blaming it on history and not on really being educated and being aware and lifestyle change?
Well, I don't like to engage in the game of blaming anybody or anything.
Yes.
The fact is, it's an issue, it's a challenge, and it's something that we need to tackle, because the main cause of morbidity in our adults in the Federation is as a result of the non-communicable diseases. The leading causes of morbidity here include obesity, or being big, heavier than we ought to be. Hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol levels, hypertension, meaning those of us whose blood pressure is higher than it ought to be, and diabetes. Alright, so these are the leading causes of morbidity in the Federation. And then these conditions go on to cause what we call complications, cardiovascular diseases like heart attack, cerebrovascular accidents or stroke, alright, and some are linked to cancers, alright, and these are the leading causes of death in the Federation. And so they are significant in terms of the cost the health expenditure.
Yes.
The ministry spends a lot in terms of treating individuals who develop these complications. And so you have voiced a significant challenge. And as a ministry, actually that's the conversation we had walking in
Okay.
into this program. You know, we need to look at the various programs that we now have in terms of dealing with the NCD problem. Now, for me, as I come into the Ministry of Health, I want to look at prevention or prevention programs. What are we doing to prevent persons developing diabetes and hypertension in the first case? You know, we need to get the word out there. If you are heavier than you ought to be, it all comes down to your lifestyle. You know, you need to embark on a change whereby you eat less, you know, food with lower levels of refined sugars, lower levels of salt, lower levels of fat. And we also as a ministry need to collaborate with the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of making it nutritious food available and accessible to the population. Food, natural food, plant-based food, ground provision, yam, banana, you know, these starches, you know, it is claimed is better for us than the refined foods. And so the message of lifestyle change is what we need to be getting out. All right, so prevention. In terms of those individuals who already have diabetes and hypertension, you know, as a ministry or health services need to be more aggressive in managing our diabetics and hypertensive patients to achieve better control of the blood pressure levels and the blood sugar levels. All right, so treatment and a tightening up of our health services where the management of our chronic disease patients is concerned. And in terms of the complications now, we need to prevent our patients with these conditions in terms of developing the complications of heart attack and stroke, etc. And it comes down to patient education, self-management. We need to tell individuals that their management is not just a responsibility of the doctor in the health center, but it's an individual responsibility. So when you are given medication for your hypertension and your diabetes, it's important for you to be compliant and take your medication as prescribed, because that's what's going to delay the complication or even prevent the complication. And again, lifestyle, because if you already develop these conditions, your lifestyle, what you eat, what you drink, and your activity level, also very important. And so as a ministry, we are at the planning stage now, whereby we are relooking our programs, non-communicable disease programs, looking, and we are picking up the gaps and making plans in terms of addressing these shortfall or deficiencies.
So now, Dr. Laws, we are almost out of time. So I'm going to give each of you 2 minutes where you can wrap up. If there's anything that you would like to say in parting, I'll give you 2 minutes to do so. Mr. Riley, we'll start with you.
In parting, as I normally say on shows, we're dealing with Zika. No mosquito, no Zika. No Zika, no ill persons. But to the general public, we have a role to play. Let us see that we do our part, and as a ministry, we will try our utmost best to continue doing what we do, which is education, inspection, and as much as possible try to get rid of all the problems out there that would create any health effects for the population. So help us to help you, and that's my parting words.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Dr. Laws.
Well, Mr. Williams, again, I want to thank you for the opportunity of having us on your program and giving us an opportunity to speak to the public in terms of what we all can do as individuals to control or curtail this local outbreak of Zika virus. And as individuals, as families, as communities, and as a nation, we can go through our homes or immediate environment and rid ourselves of the potential breeding sites for the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Dr. Brown?
Yes. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to be here and to share with the public. And as my colleagues have done, I would implore all persons to not just think of yourself, but think of your community, think of the island, think of the federation. What you do in your backyard can affect your community and ultimately affect the whole federation. And so think about that, think about your lifestyle, think about your health, think about what you can do as a person to make yourself and your family and by extension your community a better place.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Lake.
It's along the same lines of the previous three speakers. We really need your help. Most of what we do involves empowering the persons out in the community, empowering them through education. For instance, we give them as much knowledge about Aedes aegypti and Zika as possible, because one, the EHOs and the vector control officers cannot be with you all the time, and even so our resources are finite. We need you to come on board and help out as much as possible, even with all that we are going to do, and even with as much as we are going to speak. We still need persons to be aware of what is going on around them. Think outside of the box. Don't just think about buying a BOP to spray your house. Think about the environment, think about your neighbor, and do what you can to help the situation. That is the most important thing you could do, really.
Thank you, Mr. Lake.
You are welcome.
Now I want to thank all of you, the four of you, for being here today on very short notice. Thank you, Dr. Laws, for so readily agreeing to be on the program today. It shows really that you know that this is of some concern, the Zika virus and health issues, and we look forward to seeing all of you back again on this program. Today we learned so much about environmental awareness, mosquito management. We should probably have management studies in mosquitoes and surveillance and control and so on, and how important it is that we pay attention to our environment, because the environment leads basically to sickness, and you know what sickness leads to? More sickness. And we know what more sickness leads to: a sick economy, a sick everything, a sick community, and so on. So I thank you again for being on the program today. I want to thank all of our callers, those of you who called in and had some concerns. I want to thank all of you who listened today to our program. We hope that it was very informative, and I'm sure that it was, because it was very informative to me. This has been another edition of Working for You. I am your host, Lesroy Williams. Remember, tomorrow from 7:30 to 9 a.m. we have a rebroadcast on Freedom, and from 10:30 to 12 p.m. we have another rebroadcast in Nevis. Thank you very much and have a good day.
a weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Lesroy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. Working for you ears weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for you.